All right, the island stool is a great project. This is kind of a gateway project to building all of my sculptured furniture. It's got a great saddle here that's dished out just a bit. It's got nice shapely legs that curve out, 3 legs, and they curve out far enough that there's really very good balance. And then we've got a very unusual and kind of contemporary stretcher here that is a triangular stretcher. So to make these parts, first we're going to start with a seat. And so here's the roughed out seat. And in chapter 1 or part 1, I'm going to show you how to rough out this seat. And you've got a pattern from your pattern sheet for that seat. And you're also going to be making 3 legs. And here are 3 legs that are ready to be assembled with a seat. And then you've got a stretcher. 3 boards that come together at angles such that the grain orientation out to each one of the mortises in the legs, that's the hole there, the grain orientation will be very strong because it'll be running that tenon right into that mortise. Now, I drew this triangle here because the way that these 3 pieces are put together is with a spline that's going to fit right in the middle, and yes, it is a triangular spline. And with all that glue surface, it's going to give it a lot of strength, so you'll be able to rest your foot here as you sit at the island. I think you're going to enjoy this project, and let's start with the seat. Everything starts with laying out the seat, and you can't do the joinery that's required if you go ahead and you cut it in a circle. Matter of fact, you've got to plan for success. You've got to plan to work off of some straight, flat areas. So, you notice on our pattern here that this is where you're going to cut one of these notches and rabbet that notch. So you start out by cutting a miter here that will give you a nice flat angle. That way you can sit this down at the table saw and run your blade through here, and you can make the notch. So let's see how to lay all of this out. All right, you may have to glue up a couple of pieces for your seat. The seat itself is 13 3/8 of an inch wide, and the grain orientation is running right to left or left to right. It's not running toward the front. And so all of those things are important. It's hard to joint something that is 13 3/8 wide. So you might want to glue up 2 boards unless you want to hand plane a wider board to get it ready for the piece. So right here I have glued up 2 boards. I've made them 13 3/8, and I can lay this out and use this to draw my lines for going to the table saw and clipping these areas off to make these flats. In the back, this is already flat, and so I'll be able to sit it at the table saw like that and use a dado to work this all the way up and get it the depth I need it. So let's go ahead and finish drawing this out. You need to find a center line here. You'll find a center line on your pattern. You'll find a center line in the front. Draw yourself a good line there, and this is the angle for the 3 legs, and you can get all of that off of your pattern. Go ahead and lay it out, Then we'll go to the table saw and we'll make our first cuts. I've installed a cut line with a Sharpie here to be able to show where the cut is going to take place. I drew it right on to the top of the table saw, and down the edges I've extended that so I can see where the cut is going to take place. And I've got the miter gauge set for 30 degrees, and I put a stop block here to kind of prevent any drifting. So I think we're ready to make this cut. Let's see what happens. Now I'm going to flip it, do the other side. We'll have all of our 3 flats done so that we can then do our notches and complete our joinery. This is going great. Using your dial calipers, take a measurement of the width of your notch here. We've got the top of the notch marked here. That came off of your pattern, and there, but we want to get the width, and we've set up a dado blade here to be that exact width. And so we're going to just inch it along, one kerf at a time, until we hit that line. So let's get started. Now we'll do the other 2 and we'll have our notches. Then on to the rabbets. Okay, our rabbet is going to be a 1/2 inch deep. You could add maybe just a 1/2 inch fat if you want to, because we want plenty of room on the top side of the seat and the top side of the joint to be able to sculpt this forward. In other words, we're going to sculpt through part of it, and so we need the extra depth there. So, a 1/2 inch deep. And I've set the router here to plunge down in total to a 1/2 inch. Now, the first pass is going to be less than that, and then we'll plunge on down, take the full pass, so we'll have the 1/2 inch in depth. So, got a rabbet bit in here chucked up. This is a rabbet bit that will cut a 1/2 inch in this direction. The total diameter of this rabbet bit is 1.5 inches. And that means a 3/4 inch roundover bit is going to match the radius that we leave on the inside right here. So keep that in mind. All right, let's see what happens. All right, there's our first pass, and we need to repeat that to straighten this out just a bit. Now I'm going to plunge down to this level from the bottom. It's not quite as deep as the 1/2 inch on top. Now we've got our tenon, and we're a 1/2 inch deep here on the top, and we're a little less on the bottom. That's going to be just perfect. We'll do the other 2 leg joints over here, and then we'll just cut it out so that it'll be round, and we'll cut it out so that we've got the little pommel in front, and we'll be through roughing out the seat. let's lay out the pommel right here. We'll cut that out and we'll be finished with our seat blank. That's how you lay that out. Then you flip it over and you do the other side. The next thing we'll do is to add some legs. That'll be in the next part.